Hagar was?
Mayor of Earth.
Does he have a daughter?
Yes.
Does she say, "My dad's the mayor"?
God damn it, Will! He's the mayor!
Nobody knows what we're talking about right now.
Yes, inside jokes are the best kind of jokes, and I highly recommend the game Mad Dog McCree for some of the finest acting in video game history. Now, playing as Hagar, I'm going to try and kill every boss with a pile driver as possible. It might not work out that way, but I'm going to damn well try. Right? Oh no, I died. And we get the awesome continue screen, where Mike Hagar has to potentially blow out a stick of dynamite. We're going to switch over to Cody, who is Jessica's boyfriend and has the fastest fists in the game. And every character has a secret infinite combo. Cody's is the easiest to pull off. We're going to try and start doing some of that. Cody also tends to take a little bit more damage than Hagar. Guy takes the most damage. So Cody is best for, like, he's got a lot of range in his punches, but they're still fast. Hagar has the most powerful strikes. And Guy can jump off of walls. If you'll look at character names, we've got Poison there. Poison is one of the most famous characters generated from Final Fight after, say, Mike Hagar and Guy and Cody, who have appeared in Street Fighter. There we've got Andre. We'll get to him in a second. Poison is the first recorded transgender character in video games. And there was some fear that beating up women would be considered bad, so Poison is a transgender male. In Japan, they haven't had reassignment surgery. In America, they have. Poison's cohort, Roxy, who is Poison but with orange hair, is a man who is a cross-dresser. That's the established canon. And we'll talk a little bit about Andre now that another Andre is on the screen right now. Contrary to popular belief, Andre's not named after professional wrestler Andre the Giant. It's just a coincidence. A coincidence that they would later play off of in the Street Fighter 3 series, or Street Fighter 3 Double Impact / Third Strike, where a member of the Andre family, who's rumored to be Andre Jr., going by the name Hugo, does the Hogan-Andre stare-off with the main character of Street Fighter 3, Alex. But there's a lot of Street Fighter connection in these games. Street Fighter takes place in the same universe as Final Fight. And there's a lot of connection with a 80s B movie that very few people have seen, which is titled, if I am not mistaken, Streets of Fire, which has to do with a captured girlfriend, a man whose name is Cody, literally fighting a bunch of people in the street. We'll switch over to Guy now. Guy's special ability is to jump off of walls. I don't personally like playing as Guy, but I have to show everyone all the characters, so he'll be getting a little bit of time. But as you can see, Guy is very weak towards attacks. And I'm trying to show the wall jump. I'm not really good at executing it. Again, another reason why I don't like playing as Guy. So we'll probably be doing most of this run as Cody and Hagar, because why the fuck wouldn't I want to play as Mike Hagar? Guy was the first character in the Final Fight series to make the transition over to the Street Fighter series, appearing in Street Fighter Alpha 1. along with the boss of this stage, who is known as Sodom, or if you play the Super Nintendo version of the game, Katana. Which is kind of weird because they actually, for the Super Nintendo port of Street Fighter Alpha 2, they changed his name back to Katana, even though he's been known as Sodom officially in every form of media since appearing in Final Fight. So, baffling Nintendo censorship. Alright, let's get back to the fucking boss, Mike fucking Hagar! Because honestly, he's the strongest, and I can't pull off the infinite that well with Cody, so Mike is my best bet. Taking on Sodom here, you basically want to attack him from horizontally. You don't want to try and go straight on, otherwise he'll chop you to bits, like right there. He is a very, very cheap boss with his charge attacks. And you're better off kind of just trying to jump and avoid the charge attacks. It's not easy to get him into grapples. It's not easy to do much of anything against him. He's one of the most difficult and cheap bosses of the game. You'll be seeing the continue screen a lot just because despite the fact that this is one of my favorite games of all time, I'm not that good at it. I love beat-em-ups, but beat-em-ups are made to do one thing: steal your quarters. Now you'll notice Sodom takes a whole heck of a lot of grapple damage. He's specifically made to be hard to grapple, so that's why he takes a lot of grapple damage. We're gonna try and get the pile driver on him to finish it off. And we do! Pile driver, motherfucker! Oh, and Sodom is a weeaboo. He's a wannabe Japanese. The car braking minigame, which would later appear in Final Fight, or this is Final Fight, would later appear in the Street Fighter series, makes its first appearance here. And despite the fact that we are playing not the Japanese version of the game, but the international version, license plate says Japan, and best line of the game is coming up.
Oh my god!
Which, if you play the Super Nintendo version, gets switched to, oh my god. They sampled the oh my, and then someone in the studio just recorded quickly them saying car. Now you'll see all three weapons that are available in the game on the screen. We've got a pipe, a katana, and a knife. Each player has a specialty. Hagar can swing the pipe faster than anyone else. Guy can swing the katana faster than anyone else. And Cody can use the knife without just throwing it. So they all have their advantages and disadvantages.
This street has really dangerous litter.
Oh, and if you have ever taken a peek at the little banner for Kyle Replays His Childhood, this might start to look familiar in a few moments.
Well, I mean, if there were lead pipes and knives all around the alleyway, your restaurant would be empty too.
What are you talking about? There's a guy standing in the corner right there, Will. We're gonna keep walking. There's two guys. I mean, just Katana opened a door, and the bar is full. Eat some chicken.
Why is Melina not there, though? If Katana's just hanging out.
Son of a bitch. And that game is made by Capcom's biggest rival, Brian.
Marvel?
Yes.
Because why would Capcom's biggest rival be anyone but Marvel if they always are fighting?
And I cannot wait for Infinite. I will be getting that day one.
Is that when Marvel is?
Yeah, Marvel Infinite will be later this year, I believe. Fourth quarter is where they're aiming it, early fourth quarter. The Marvel series is my favorite series of fighting games, the Versus series, whatever you want to call it. And I am better than Bronson at them. Have to throw that one in there just because I always say that.
If you know Bronson on Twitter, you should absolutely tweet at him and tell him that Kyle is better than you at Marvel.
He will completely respond respectfully and with a dignified answer.
Yeah, he won't totally go off the rails at you, especially if he doesn't know who you are.
He won't get mad at all.
He won't say something like, "Man, I don't even know who the fuck you are."
Okay, I just destroyed Andre Jr., but he picks me up and chokes me, and now we're in the death match with Grandpa Andre and Father Andre. Now, if I were playing a two-player game, they would be joined by a third Andre, who is Uncle Andre. I'm switching to Cody now just to see if I could possibly pull off the Infinite.
Your Uncle Andre's going on and on.
Okay, I'm not going to be able to pull off the Infinite, so I'm going to just grab the knife and try and stab the fuck out of them. I do the Super Joy there just to try and avoid getting butt splashed by Andre. And honestly, that wasn't too painful. If one of those Andres corners you, they can kill you in seconds, so the fact that I was able to survive that, I'm quite surprised with. Like, normally that's a fight that can just wreck you. And if you're playing two-player mode, like, they can utterly fuck your shit up.
Sounds sexy.
Now, I've mentioned Street Fighter appearances. Cody also appears in Street Fighter games. He appears in Alpha 3, and then later appeared in Street Fighter 4, along with most of the other Final Fight characters who have appeared in a Street Fighter game before. And in canon, and this is my favorite Final Fight fact, in canon, Cody is one of the strongest characters in the Street Fighter series.
Now, why, pray tell, is that?
Because Cody gets arrested by this corrupt cop here, Ed E.
Ed E.
Yeah, EDIE, who spit his gum at the ground at the beginning of this fight, and you'll see the benefit of the gum. Ah, damn it. The gum actually restores your health fully, but he hit me at the same time as I picked it up, so I wasn't able to get that benefit. But Cody gets arrested by Ed E, and he fights in his handcuffs and prison uniform. He escapes from jail to get into the World Warrior Tournament. And even with the handicap, he is still one of the strongest physical fighters in the game. And his ability to throw rocks that he finds on the ground is able to cancel out fireballs, which in canon are some of the strongest attacks in the Street Fighter universe.
All he needed was a rock. All these years, guys like E Honda and Chun-Li were trying to figure shit out. Just needed a rock.
Yeah, just throw a rock.
Well, shit.
Alright, we're in the industrial area. This level was taken out of the Super Nintendo version of the game, which is one of the most commonly played versions of the game, so this is a level that a lot of people actually didn't get to play. Oh man, I was nearly able to show off Cody's Infinite. I'm going to stick with Cody for the time being, just because him being able to pull off the Infinite might have some benefits, especially if I'm able to pull it off against the next boss, Relento.
Cody's Infinite sounds like a 90s like soft rock band.
Well, it's hard to pull off in this flame area, but once we get out of here, I'll be able to at least show an example of it, I think.
No, I just mean the name. Cody's like, come next time, 95.9, all the hits of the 90s. We got Dishwalla, Counting Blue Cars. We got a little bit of Dog's Eye View, and a new one from Cody's Infinite.
I'm gonna eat some chicken.
The barrels are in the way. I must punch them.
Speaking of Cody's Infinite, I was going hard on Sister Hazel last night.
What in particular?
Well, it started off by ripping on Hootie and the Blowfish. It just got worse from there.
Okay, that's fair. By the way, for those unfamiliar, Sister Hazel for a very long period were like my favorite band.
I know. It's gonna upset.
No, I'm not telling you that. I'm telling people who are viewing.
I know. I'm just telling you, this is going to upset you, kind of. But
whatever.
I am a much bigger fan of the Gin Blossoms and Blues Traveler than I am of practically every other band in that genre.
Fine by me. I don't care.
Like, Sister Hazel didn't have that one good song.
You're just a fan of Blues Traveler because John Popper will reply to any tweet made towards him.
That's true. That's not the reason. I just think the hook will bring you down. Dare I say the hook always brings you down.
It brings you back, by the way.
See,
it's literally about a song that's really, really catchy. It's about how pop music fucking sucks. Because the whole chorus is it doesn't matter what I say, blah 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 blah, and then it's like, but the hook brings you back. It's like, I'm literally gonna shit on pop music right now, but it don't matter because it's like, I'm gonna call you stupid, but guess what? The hook's gonna bring you back.
Yeah.
That's literally what the song's about.
Cannot carry weapons between screen transitions. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
One of the weird quirks in the Final Fight games, between screen transitions, you cannot bring weapons. Also, another weird quirk is when Cody punches, his head gets about 30% smaller.
Can we see that while you're on this lift?
Yeah, like.
Okay, yeah, we're seeing it.
If I stand still and punch forward, like right now, his head is tiny.
His face just disappears mostly.
His fists are bigger than his head.
You underestimate that I have punches.
Oh, and El Gato sucks. I fucking hate him because he has a weapon and can use it.
You mean El Gato?
Yes.
It's so much better when he became Drago. Like, it was finally a good gimmick he could sink his teeth into.
Alright, we're gonna go back to fucking Mike the Bomber Hagar just because I want to throw knives instead of actually try and use them.
Mike the Bomber Haggard.
Actually, well, technically his wrestling name is Macho Mike Hagar.
He looks like Dan Severn.
He does look a lot like Dan Severn, yes.
I'd like to believe that Dan Severn is the inspiration for Mike Hagar. Or is Mike Hagar the inspiration for Dan Severn?
Well, if you're to believe some sources, Jesse Ventura... Pile driver to end it, of course.
Nice. Gotta go for your finish, man. That's a finish anywhere.
Yes, it is. Standard, tucking pile driver, it's almost, I'd say, similar to a Rubik's Cube or an Iconoclasm, if you will. And now the break glass mini stage, which fucking sucks.
God damn, the dude just killed himself. That's not okay.
So you have to be at the right distance to break these glass panes. And if you're not at the right distance, they don't break. They just spin. So this mini stage fucking sucks. And I don't like it.
That is obnoxious.
Yeah, they just spin around. The Bay Area, where, like, this shithole of a city has a boardwalk area that's an even bigger shithole. Like, this is your typical Riverwalk, except, garbage is never emptied and the bathrooms are completely destroyed, so it is...
Oh look, all the benches have been tagged by that famous graffiti artist, Leaksy. He's the less popular Banksy.
Oh, I'd just like to point out the leather jacket wearing fellows. The one with short hair is Slash, and the one with long hair is Axel.
And there's the Riddler.
Are you referring to 2P? Who is
Referring
named
to the
after...
Riddler.
Well, the man with the orange mohawk who I just pile drove is named 2P. He is given that name because he is modeled after the second player character in the Capcom arcade game Forgotten Worlds, which is a really nice, underrated shoot 'em up with unique dial type controller. And speaking of arcades, if you're ever in the Chicagoland area, I highly recommend the Galloping Ghost, the world's largest arcade, over 500 machines. You can play Final Fight there. You could also play Forgotten Worlds there.
Pretty crazy. I've been there. He's right. There's a lot of machines.
Yes.
I didn't think there was 500 of them, but I wouldn't be surprised. Certainly, it's packed to the gills.
There's a bunch of machines that have multiple games, so that's where the numbers continue to add up. But
Oh, okay, good. Okay, 500 different games. not
Yes.
500.
I should have been clear. But like some of the machines that have double games, they've got switches so you can like switch between two different games, like a Double Dragon 2 and a Double Dragon 1, that type of thing. Gotta drink my whiskey and pick up a diamond and an emerald. You know, Metro City wouldn't be in this bad situation if people did not leave expensive jewels in oil drums and barrels.
Is that whiskey or is that just cola?
No, the bottle with the X's on it is whiskey. Oh, and if you'll notice, Andre and an Andre Jr. spawned. I moved the screen ahead, and that got rid of the Andre that spawned. You can eliminate enemy spawns if you have the ability to move ahead by moving ahead at a certain time, which is very beneficial in some portions of the game, so you don't get overrun by enemies. And a hammer, because everyone knows that picking up hammers gives you points. We'll pile drive Jake there and keep moving forward.
Can you physically pick up stuff, or can you just run over it?
You have to pick it up by hitting the punch button.
Boo. I'm technically a gamer, 25 years old.
Older than that. I believe it's 28 years old. Came out in 1989.
Oh.
And originally, the title of the game was Final Fight 89. It was Street Fighter 89. The game's now called Final Fight. It was supposed to be the sequel to Street Fighter, but things got changed when Capcom decided they did want to make a traditional sequel to Street Fighter that was a one-on-one fighting game, and thus Street Fighter 2 was born and led to the franchise that everyone knows and loves. Unless you're one of those weirdos that hates Street Fighter 5 for whatever reason. Street Fighter 5 is a damn good game, and I'll leave it at that. German suplex, pile driver, flying body press. And Hagar is an agile motherfucker because he can hit the flying body press and then land back on his feet. So props to him. Axel and Slash are fucking awful, awful enemies because despite their low health, they have a double axe handle move that takes off half of your health. So they're not fun to fight. We'll give Guy a run here. I don't know why, but, you know, I figure he's worth a try. Because growing up, I never played as Guy. I had Final Fight on my Super Nintendo, and that did not include Guy. And no arcades around me had Final Fight. So I never played it in the arcades until MAME came out.
Oh, now I'm thinking about when the Galloping Ghost, and I'm about to drop a very spicy hot take about arcade games. WrestleFest is not good.
And as I said then, Will, you're fucking wrong.
It's it's just button mashing nonsense.
You played WrestleFest for 10 minutes.
It was button mashing nonsense. I didn't want to play it anymore. I told you it'd be a spicy hot take.
And as you can see there, I had half health, and Slash took that health completely away with one attack. And I'll pick up an emerald ring, because why wouldn't there be an emerald ring just in a random drum in this horribly dilapidated part of town?
Were there hologram games at the Galloping Ghost? I always forget if I've seen those at the Galloping Ghost and at MagFest or just at MagFest.
No, they had both of the hologram games. They had Holosseum as well as, God, why can't I remember the name of the other one? But they had...
The hologram games are fucking badass. I love those. Maybe I can't remember if they were like if the gameplay was shitty or anything, but I was fighting with holograms, damn it.
The gameplay on the hologram games is not good. Like, Holosseum is not great because it's a fighting game with only 2 buttons and 4 characters. And the other hologram game is not great either because it's a Laserdisc game, and Laserdisc games are notoriously awful. Just gonna throw a bunch of knives and hope that works out. And we're gonna bring back in Cody because I do not like playing as Guy, as I said. I think Guy stinks in this game.
He just always wants to go to Flavor Town.
But yeah, there's a lot of scenarios in this game where you can just get fucked completely over. If enemies surround you, you're dead.
You're dead.
If you have to fight a incredibly difficult boss with enemies, like the next boss we will face is the hardest boss in the game. And that's not hyperbole, he is just made to destroy to remove quarters from you and to ensure that you do not make it to the end of the game.
That's another thing we gotta remember is that these games, you know, are designed from the arcades, so they basically are designed not to necessarily be hard, but to be
Cheap.
quarter sucking.
They're cheap. They're designed to be cheap, and like you'll see, there are 8 sprites total that can be on screen at a time, and they will surround you. And if they surround you and start hitting you, you can lose all of your health in a matter of moments.
Pretty much.
Abigail is incredibly cheap, despite being a bad Road Warrior ripoff. We're gonna... When he turns red, he can do a charge attack. If he lands the charge attack, it is half of your health.
See, now I'm thinking of the fact that a wrestler is named Abigail, and all I can think of is Abigail the Butcher.
What about Sister Abigail?
Oh, that works too, but not sure that's a wrestler. Is that one of the wrestlers?
Hey, Randy! Alright.
Is Abigail one of the wrestlers?
Wait, is this a boss fight or is this like
This is a boss fight.
in-
How much does boss weigh?
This
No,
is
I just want to know why like spawns have to come in now.
we've explained the game is cheap. Like the moment you kill the boss, the spawns stop and the level is over.
Hey, who are these hunks that show up?
Oh, Bill Bull, G. Orber, and Wong Hu are the three.
Wait, Bill Bulge?
Bill Bull.
Oh, I thought it was Bill Bulge. I'm like, that sounds like he should be in a different fucking movie.
Oh yeah, Abigail is very difficult to land a throw on. I'm gonna go back to Cody just because Cody's got a better range with a jump kick and a faster ability. And so he'll actually be able to hit Abigail if I can get close enough. But Abigail is incredibly cheap. I've already sunk 2 quarters on him. And I'm playing on kind of default settings. I change when you get extra lives to a more reasonable amount.
I love when you get to the continue screen when he's tied up with the dynamite and the knife comes down, which I assume is what happens when you continue.
Yep.
He has this look of just sheer either joy or I don't know what, and it just makes me happy. His reaction is the funniest thing to me.
Well, Brian, I hope you are prepared for the funniest part of the game, which will be coming up very shortly when we reach the final boss.
I am, my body is ready.
We're trying to move forward as fast as possible to eliminate some of the enemy spawns. Didn't work that well.
And we're walking, and we're walking.
So we've got G, Orbiter, Bill Bull, and Andre.
3,000.
I wish. I would totally play a fighting game where you can play as Big Boy and Andre 3000.
As Outcast.
You have your final boss.
It has to be a 2-player game. It'd be like, you know, Final Fight: The Love Below or something.
Miss Jackson is one of the bosses.
Oh, clearly. It'd be called Hiya. Terrible joke, and it still made me laugh, and I don't care. It made Kyle laugh, and
goddamn right it did.
That's fine. It's good enough for me.
I'm gonna go ride the elevator upstairs really quick. Somehow we're able to see inside the building. I don't ask questions.
Of course.
Boom, ba-doom, boom, 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 boom.
I do like that he has to kind of sashay backwards into the elevator.
Yes, of course.
Because just because you're beating people up doesn't mean you can't do it with style.
I mean, well, look at that style. Fucking one suspender.
Only one suspender. He lost the other in the war. It's very old D wrestling.
Oh yes,
Jesus.
Indeed. Well, I mean,
I love that you pile drove him onto another guy. That's amazing.
Yes, you can. If you German suplex or pile drive someone into enemies, the other enemies take damage and fall over.
Oh, it's brilliant. I love it.
Because that's what would happen.
Yeah.
If I could physically take someone, jump up, and give them a fucking pile driver onto another person, the other person would take damage.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm never wrong. Body press, German suplex. Agger with those fucking,
Body blow, body blow.
Knock him
out! I really
out.
wish there was some move we could call the squisher, so we could just keep going squisher, squisher.
Well, I would figure that his flying body press would be considered like a squisher.
Oh, yeah.
Squisher.
If anyone does not get the reference to Squisher, it's from a Kevin Nash, I think with kayfabe commentaries, and he's shitting on Cornette, talking about how he's only got like 4 moves, and he starts naming them, and like Nash is just pissed that he's not mentioning the Squisher, which is his corner move, I guess. He's like Squisher, Squisher, Snake Eyes, Hair Flip. He includes Hair Flip, of course.
Yeah, I got 5, and that was including the Hair Flip. And Nash's response is great. There's this guy, Nolan Ryan. He only knows how to throw one kind of pitch, a fastball. He still managed to be one of the best pitchers of all time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say Kevin Nash is one of the best wrestlers of all time, but he is one of the smartest.
He's also one of the most successful.
Yep.
I mean, you know, you can't argue with that.
Well, you can, but you would be Matt Bourne in a fucking ugly, stained, gray Kmart hoodie.
Well, shit. You ain't wrong there either.
Yeah, fuck Matt Bourne.
God to him.
It's not even, like,
No, not even for that. It was just like a
fuck him.
painted a hell of a picture.
Yeah. Well, the best is when Kevin Nash is shitting on Matt Bourne and says it looks like Matt's trying to get him one of those Ricky Morton payoffs.
Jesus.
Alright, let's get a topaz and an emerald, and we are getting close. We got just a couple more bits of hallway to go, and we'll be at the final boss.
We're already at the final fight.
Yes, the final fight of Final Fight.
This is the final fight.
And we
Is
have
this final boss harder than whoever? Who was the hard? Was Abigail the hard one you were talking about?
Abigail is the hardest, followed by Saddam. This guy isn't
Saddam
as...
the last one?
No, Saddam was the guy with the katana swords.
Oh, okay. So is this guy we're about to face just kind of like nothing by comparison?
He's difficult, but he doesn't have as much health and isn't as difficult as those other guys.
Is it mostly because they're trying to get people like there from the very beginning?
Yeah, they're...
Like, why wouldn't you put the harder bosses early on?
I think it might be a little bit of unbalanced programming as well, because you have to remember that, like, these people, people who would make arcade games, they weren't spending, like, hours and hours playtesting. Like, is this a fair challenge? They were just making a game that they thought would draw people in, and that would make people want to play. So you put some cool bosses at the beginning, like the guy with the katanas, Saddam, or like you put a lot of, god damn it, fucking Hollywood and Elgato. I'm just gonna fucking pick you up as much as possible and throw as many knives at you as
possible. It sounds like a tag team you'd face in like a generic pro wrestling video game.
Sounds like something that Glow would put on as a match, because they already had a Hollywood. So they could have easily made Spanish Red El Gato.
You're not wrong there.
Oh, Spanish Red, secretly the hottest woman in Glow.
I believe you, I just don't remember any of it. Oh god, I opened the wrong thing. Shit, hang on.
Alright, just gotta beat Poison and Roxy and a couple other guys. Ooh, that would have been really bad. I was hitting the punch button. If I had continued to hit that, that would have counted down my continue. Which, back in the day in arcades, a really dick thing to do was, when you were done with the game, to count down the continue so no one else could continue the game with you.
Yep, that's an awesome dick thing to do. If you really wanted to fuck over someone behind you.
Mm-hmm.
If the guy was just being obnoxious.
Yeah, like if they called next. Like if they put their quarter up for next, that's perfectly fine. If you were clearly still playing it and they fucking hounded you for next, like, and it's a game you can continue at, then you have no remorse fucking taking out all the continues to ensure that they have to start over.
Oh yeah.
Total dick. They were a dick, you can be a dick.
Yeah.
It's only fair. Alright, final boss time coming up! Just gotta kill a couple more Andres and Elgato and shit. And it's nice that right before the final boss, they give you a room full of some of the toughest regular enemies that you will face. Just to ensure that you earn your right to face the final boss. But I mean, that's how it would be in real life. If you were taking down an evil gangland lord, he would have some of his best people right before him. There's suplex poison, grab a knife. avoid the chandeliers. Ooh, barbecue. Ooh, chicken. And the boss Belger is a man in a wheelchair.
What?
Yeah.
Like a motorized, like souped up wheelchair,
Yes.
or like a.
Like a motorized souped up wheelchair that you pick him up out of and then suplex the shit out of him in.
Oh!
So he's just pretending to be a cripple.
Oh, neat. This is totally not problematic at all.
No, not at all.
To be fair, he's got a crossbow.
Yes, he does, and he hops around a lot.
Okay, so now he's clearly faking it because he had a motorized wheelchair.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Is that woman okay?
Yeah, that is Jessica. She's fine. She's just... But, like, Belger has an incredibly cheap weapon with the crossbow, but he doesn't have a large health meter. Today on Top Gear, Mike Hagar wears a hat. Cody is lost. And Guy might not be a ninja.
Oh. Okay, fine, I'll put the beat behind it.
And fucking cheapness. Oh, Belger hit him with the flying body breast. Belger goes out the window.
Oh, you can throw people out the window?
He falls out the window and dies.
Oh, gotcha. So if you didn't hit him there, he would have flown across the screen out the window.
Yeah. But Belger is dead. R.I.P. in peace.
Hell, the fall alone will kill him.
Yep, but Belger is gone. R.I.P. in peace.
Now is it gonna be one of those things where like you only get the you only get like would you get a different ending if you weren't playing as Hagar?
No. Ending is all the same. Cody and Guy walk away after Jessica is safe. Akiman on staff, not the same Akiman from the No Mercy, the Aki games. Akiman is actually one of the key designers at Capcom. And they all have to use pseudonyms because they weren't allowed to put their own names. So that's why you have music and sound by Yuki-chan's Papa. But yeah, the end of the game is that Jessica chases after Cody, who is walking away. Guy punches the shit out of Cody to make him pay attention to Jessica.
Wait, what? What the
Yes.
hell? How strange.
How can you just walk away now? I want to stay here with you, Jessica. But I can't. Not while evil still stalks the streets.
Who the fuck is Cody then? What the hell? I'm so confused.
Cody was the guy in jeans. And they kiss, and of course, the #1 spot goes to IRM.
Ah, look at that.
There we go. Awesome. And game over means game over. You don't get to continue from the start or anything. So you're done. You're done. So I've got to do a little switch over work. So Mayor F. Whale and
Mayor F. Whale,
Surfer Sandman are gonna make their appearance, and we got to get pizza.
Of course, freaked out Pac-Man, and which Punch Out?
That is Pizza Pasta, my good friend.
Pizza Pasta, thank you. Forgot about Pizza Pasta.
Good old Pizza Pasta.
Can never forget. Should never forget about Pizza Pasta. Always remember, never forget, and whatnot.
Yes. And we'll get the next game going in just a moment. Gotta put that on there, and I gotta check one thing. Perfect, we are all set. Second game tonight is another classic beat 'em up. I am playing the one-screen version rather than the two-screen version of this for a very specific reason. If I were to play the two-screen version, I wouldn't be able to switch characters, and I want the ability to switch characters. This game is... We'll let the villain say it.
X-Men.
X-Men by Konami. A fondly remembered arcade beat-em-up that, I will be honest, isn't as good as people remember it. But it's still a hell of a lot of fun, especially on the two-screen machine. It's an experience to play the two-screen machine with 6 players. Oh, and I just made a crucial error, so pardon me, I've got to restart the game. If I want to show every character, I can't just load the game up with credits. I have to pick and choose. So we're just going to let the game load really quick. Apologize for the inconvenience. Okay. So we're going to start out with everybody's favorite X-Man, Dazzler!
In the 21st century.
I mean, Brian, Will, you're not the biggest fans of comic books, but you remember the classic adventures of Dazzler, don't you?
The only hope is X-Men.
No one remembers Dazzler? I mean, she's an X-Man. She was girlfriend of Longshot. Now, one thing I forgot to mention in Final Fight is or I shouldn't say every, but a vast majority of arcade beat-em-ups at this time had a crowd-clearing move. That move would traditionally cost you a little bit of health, and if you were low enough on health in some games, you would be able to do it without penalty. X-Men has a crowd-clearing move as well. It is your mutant power. It's symbolized by that little round blue flashing dot that you see in the upper left corner of the screen. Now, X-Men's big problem with this mutant power is you can use it at any time. If you use it at any time, it takes away 1/3 of your health. If you use it when you have 3 units of health or less, then you can use it perfectly fine without any problem. So I'm down to 2 units of health. I will use my crowd clearing move. It's great. I can't use it anymore because I don't have it, and I don't have enough health to be able to use it. So if you're dumb little kid in the arcade like young Kyle was, you want to use that crowd clearing move all the time. And then you wonder, why am I getting killed so easily in this game? It's not really that clear how much energy the crowd clearing move takes away until you're older and you realize it. So like right now I'm going to use the crowd clearing move. That's about 1/3 of my health. Coming up on the first boss, who is Pyro, who's going to turn us to toast. X-Men actually has a smart progression of bosses. Easiest first, and you go from there. Pyro could be a little difficult to land hits on, and he's got that crowd clearing the flame attack, but you can hit him from the back without much worry once he lands that. And it makes sense, Pyro's not really high up on the pantheon of classic X-Men villains. He's well known, don't get me wrong, but he's not your big baddie type. And there we go, Pyro's taken care of. Continue on. And I get a free mutant power for killing Pyro. Now, if I had one mutant power in the bank, the game would have given me a second one to use, which is very beneficial. Since I didn't, I just replenished the one that I get for life. And you might complain that the game's going slow because I'm not using up the mutant powers, but this is a game where using your crowd clearing ability is not beneficial in most circumstances because of how much damage it does to you. Also weird to note is, in comic book canon, the Sentinels are natural enemies of mutants. One of the few things that Magneto and Professor Xavier agree on is they do not like the Sentinels because the Sentinels hunt down mutants. For some reason, in this game, the Sentinels are Magneto's minions. It makes no sense comic book wise, but then again, I'm playing as Dazzler in this game. That doesn't make sense either. And I love the music for this stage because it takes one of the few sampled sounds from the game and turns it into a musical medley for this song. Absolutely love it. We're in the Sentinel factory right now. And like I said, the game I don't think holds up as well as people remember it, but it's still an absolute blast to play. And the reason why I say it doesn't hold up is because most people remember doing their mutant powers, and that's not beneficial at all in this game, really. So that's why I'll say it doesn't hold up as well as it should. Yes, this is the game with Welcome to Die. We will be getting there soon. Right, we die, we'll put in lives, and we'll go with Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler fights very low to the ground. I really like the way Nightcrawler damages downed enemies. He does a stomping attack on them. Hopefully we'll get to see that soon. Take this elevator down. Apparently the entire floor is an elevator. Doesn't make much mechanical sense to me, but what do I know? Oh, damn it, I just want to stomp on people. Why won't you let me stomp on people? I will give X-Men credit. It is innovative, allowing you to attack downed opponents. Nightcrawler with the dive kick, and very nice throw there. I'm gonna go through everyone, then I'll the jumping stomp attack that Nightcrawler has that I alluded to earlier. I will switch through everyone throughout this game because there's no real benefit to certain characters, despite, like, I have a favorite. I love playing as Colossus in this game. Nightcrawler's special move, he teleports very quickly across the screen and eliminates people there, which doesn't make sense for his comic book character, again, because he just has basic teleport abilities. But when you're trying to translate that into a screen-clearing attack, that's probably the best way to do it. And let's be frank, it's not the most egregious abuse of someone's mutant abilities in this game. Dazzler could actually throw those sonic bombs, so that makes perfect sense. Nightcrawler makes less sense, but, you know, I'll give it a pass. I think it's a unique enough move.
What do we got here? We got ourselves some X-Man.
X-Men. X.
Some former men.
Now, if I were able to destroy all those rocket shooters down there, it would take me to a different part of the level, but unfortunately I didn't have my mutant ability, nor did I have enough energy to do a mutant ability, so I wasn't able to do that, so I've got to go the longer, more difficult path. Brian, you did miss out on Dazzler making her appearance in the game. Just gotta try and lure... There we go. Dive kick, dive kick. Nice little throw there. I will say Nightcrawler is one of the best characters to play as in the game, simply because of that dive kick. It's very precise and it tends to knock people out really quickly. his mutant ability is not the best. Nothing moves the blob. Nothing moves the blob.
What?
The Blob, one of my favorite X-Men villains.
Ah, gotcha.
His power is chronic obesity.
I like it.
We'll go with Storm now. Storm is in a weird transitional phase, actually. She would not have this black costume for very long. In fact, shortly after this game came out, she would switch to leather jacket, leather pants, and a mohawk, which would be her look for most of the 80s.
She was rebelling against her parents.
Well, actually, her father figure is Charles Xavier, who helped her escape from a life of slavery, so...
X-Men. We have been taken by Magneto.
You're not the boss of me, Dad!
Locate their base on Island M. Destroy it.
In Island M. Which, if this game were made today, would probably be Genosha, which is the mutant sanctuary continent that was run by Magneto and has been run by other people, including Cyclops at different points. And honestly, this probably, God damn it, why can I not remember, this probably would be the Savage Land if we really were being sticklers to continuity, because that's where these alligator people would be natives of. But still, very admirable effort, because all the enemies are characters that you would see in the X-Men universe. So I've got no... What? 1990. So actually, or 90 or 91, but actually by this time Storm would have not been wearing this outfit for 3 years.
That's right, you did say that, yeah.
Yeah, but the reason why, the reason for the character inclusions and everything in this game is this game is based off a failed X-Men pilot cartoon, which is known as Pride of the X-Men, Pride being spelled P-R-Y-D-E, which stands for Kitty Pryde, aka Shadowcat, one of my favorite X-Men characters.
Nice.
But it was a attempt at a pilot featuring some of the most popular X-Men at the time, being Cyclops, Colossus, Wolverine, Storm, Nightcrawler, and then for whatever reason they put Dazzler in there, despite the fact that Dazzler was never popular. And that's not meant to be a knock. She started off with a solo comic book that failed, and
didn't do well.
Yeah, she's quite an interesting character, and actually, canonically, a very powerful character, because she can turn any sound into energy. She's actually taken down Galactus before, but not someone I'd really want to base a show off of. We're gonna go with Captain Boring, Cyclops. Cyclops fucking sucks. I hate Cyclops. He's a dick and he's boring. Like, there's nothing else to his character. He is an asshole and he's boring. He literally cheats on his wife telepathically with another woman in a BDSM relationship. And then his wife dies shortly thereafter. And he continues to see the other woman.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've missed a lot from these comic books.
Yeah, and Cyclops, it's kind of funny because the way the comics have it's set up now, Cyclops is an anti-hero, and they've actually done a lot with the character. He's not boring, he's just a dick. But Cyclops for many years was set up as being like Wolverine's foil, and Wolverine would want extreme actions and Cyclops would be the rational one, and now it's, well, the characters kind of switch place, and I don't even know if Wolverine is still in Marvel continuity right now. Yes, he did marry his dead wife's clone in Namor Prez, but to be fair, Jean was at least dead then. So at least when he married his dead wife's clone, his wife was deceased. And once his wife was found alive,
X-Men, welcome to die.
best line in the fucking game right there, X-Men welcome to die. Because, you know, why try and have lines that make sense? And we're gonna fight a lesser-known X-Men villain. It's more of a Wolverine villain and a Hulk villain, Wendigo, or an Alpha Flight villain. But Wendigo is a powerful spirit. We'll go with Wolverine for a little bit.
Now, does that mean this villain can control RVs and like motorhomes?
No, but he can get mad during the filming of a commercial for RVs and motorhomes. Oh,
Okay,
wait, sorry, that was Wendigo.
I was thinking about Winnebago, my bad.
Yeah, and I was thinking about Wendigo. Man, my mistake.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
But Wendigo is an ancient evil spirit who inhabits certain people. He's fought Wolverine, he's fought the Hulk, he's been a thorn in Alpha Flight's side many times. And basically the person he inhabits is mindless and only wants to kill and slaughter.
I gotta tell you, that still sounds fun.
Oh yeah.
Go and rescue Kitty from the cave.
Yes, giant apparition of Professor X. I don't know why this cave is futuristic space in the background, but okay.
Says they put the hologram scheme right in front of the cave. That's really convenient.
Well, Professor X can astral project his image to talk to people, so...
Oh, that's right.
You ever think he's done it to like spy on people when they're doing it? I think he has.
Well, I mean, actually... There's been a couple of interesting alternate reality stories, like... Scott Summers has a brother, Havoc, who is another one of my favorite X-Men because he is just as strong as Cyclops, but is actually, like, calmer and level-headed, and actually can be more powerful than Cyclops, depending. But they have a third brother who is known as Vulcan.
Cooper. Oh.
Who they weren't aware of, but they did a whole story about the third Summers brother and the lost team of X-Men who died on the mission before the all-new, all-different X-Men were assembled, or in Giant Size X-Men #1. I'm getting way too comic nerdy, but I don't care. But there was a what-if story that was about how Vulcan killed everyone on the island except for his brother, and the big crux of that story was Professor X never read Vulcan's mind because Vulcan requested he not to. Professor X respects that of his students. Like, he respects their wishes typically. So Professor X probably wouldn't spy on people doing it, but there's also older panels where it's quite clear where Professor X is in love with Jean Grey when she's a teenager. X-Men comics are really fucked up, but that's all comics.
Nice.
None dirty though.
Nothing dirty.
None dirty.
Nothing dirty indeed. Just
And
weird news.
Yes, indeed. If you're a fan of weird news and nothing being dirty, you might like South Tucson Youth Football.
Oh, Christ. That Dante guy is weird.
He is very strange. I still don't understand why he likes drinking lukewarm hot chocolate that's rotting, but, you know, whatever. More power to him.
I say the level that chocolate has to get to rot is also impressive.
Oh yes, yes indeed. Like an inch and a half of mold on top.
It's like how most lattes would have foam. It's like he just likes mold.
Oh god, Nammerfist, we don't talk about Onslaught. Onslaught is just fucked up because Onslaught relies on time travel and Professor X's son that he didn't know about killing Magneto, which drives Professor X insane. Ugh. He's a great video game boss, though, and I will probably stream some Marvel vs. Capcom 1 at some point, and honestly, probably some Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for that matter, because I love those games both dearly. We'll probably wait until the Marvel vs. Capcom re-release happens for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC before I do that.
I almost did this inadvertently, but a great troll would be like looking on the screen. Why are you playing as Captain Planet?
He does look a lot like Captain.
The gear.
The gear does not make it any worse. Does not make it any better.
Oh yes, and Colossus's big mutant super move in this game is exploding his body outward, which he cannot do.
No. It just sounded hot.
It does sound hot, and you get to see the hot Russian man-meat underneath that metal that is Peter Rasputin. But Colossus is my favorite character in the game. I think he's the most well-powered. And if you believe some sources, this is supposed to be Nimrod, the ultimate sentinel. But like, again, like the Sentinels in this game fighting with Magneto, there's no way Nimrod, who is considered one of the most intelligent beings in the Marvel Universe, would ever join the side of a man that he wants to exterminate and kill. Like, there's just no reason for it. And the sad thing is like, we've had pretty accurate bosses, like, prior to this. Wendigo is mindless. The Blob, like, you can't move him back. Like, you have to physically knock him to his feet and then knock him over. We're gonna go back for a little Nightcrawler. We're putting 10 lives here because Nightcrawler and Colossus are my favorite characters to play in this game, and I love the dive kick. The dive kick is fucking awesome. And we rescue Kitty Pryde, who looks nothing like comic Kitty Pryde. But you know what? They're going off the cartoon series, and that's how she looks in the cartoon, so it's fine. Fucking Nightcrawler being all badass and shit. Tossing motherfuckers around, still fighting multitudes of these Sentinels. And honestly, again, another weird thing, Sentinels are supposed to be 20 feet tall, 30 feet tall or so. They're not supposed to be this small, unless they're like a weird variation model, which shouldn't exist. Yes, Nightcrawler's dive kick, and Storm also has an excellent dive kick. We will not neglect past that. See Nightcrawler's dive kick. Oh, fuck. Stepped over the ledge there. You can kill yourself in this level because of the ledges. And those fucking flamethrowers suck dick because you can get easily caught in them and lose all your life. They're cheap as shit. They probably shouldn't be in the game, but hey, what are you gonna do? Nightcrawler has I dare say, the easiest throw to pull off him and Colossus, and they have probably the best clearing abilities because they go after the most areas. You only need to hit someone once with a range clearing attack. Also, Dazzler's range clearing attack is good, but it's difficult to control.
The White Queen.
White Queen, also someone who should not be teaming up with Magneto, because the Hellfire Club, despite being mutants, hates all other mutants. And this is the woman who Scott Summers cheated on his wife with. White Queen later joins the good side under her real name Emma Frost. She's a very powerful telepath and telekinetic as well. She also at one point trains Generation X, which is the essentially young mutants in training at the Xavier Academy. And they also had a shitty made-for-TV movie, which I highly recommend everyone check out if they want to see some of the worst acting possible. And this arcade game makes a cameo in that movie.
Nice.
Oh yes, gotta love that crossover. Gotta love.
Of course, gotta sell those quarters.
Gotta sell those quarters for a TV show that's not gonna happen, but now surprisingly is happening. Well, multiple X-Men TV shows are happening, and they all look very interesting. I'm kind of excited to see the new one with Aubrey Plaza. I think that has a very interesting concept.
It is kind of crazy how for so long just had no traction on it, and now it's like you can't do wrong with it, basically. Like you can't, or not you can't do wrong with it, but you can't like.
Well, I mean, like
you can't, like you'll stumble over a good numbers with it.
Yeah, like for a long time, Smallville was an extreme anomaly because it was a superhero show on television, and now there's over a dozen, either on or in development. I'm gonna start burning some mutant powers because this is where the game decides to be cheap, and mutant powers can be much more cheap than the game can be. Like, I'm gonna still try and play this as fair and straight as possible, but there are points in this game where using a mutant power is the only option. Like, there's no getting around it. Like some of the area bosses, you have to. Right?
I like the thing in the ground that's like trying to sell you a wristwatch. Like, come on, buy a watch.
All right, we've got the unstoppable Juggernaut here. That rocket launcher is a weird addition for the video game. Apparently, they didn't just want to have him rush and tackle you.
Huh.
What's interesting to note is there should be no way that this team of X-Men should be able to defeat Juggernaut at this point, because Professor Xavier is captured, and if Magneto's worth his salt, he will have a mental blocker put on him. And Juggernaut is only vulnerable to mental attacks. That's why he wears the helmet. The helmet prevents mental attacks from occurring to him. So oh, Professor X, thank you.
Is over there. Follow me.
I will follow you, Professor X. I mean, nothing bad could happen here at all, could it?
Yeah, you don't ever lead me into certain doom.
Oh my goodness! It was Mystique the entire time!
I gotta tell you guys, we probably should have saw that one coming.
Yeah. I mean, like, Mystique wasn't in the beginning of the game, so at least, like, if you watch the intro to the game and everything, that's at least a nice surprise, and it makes logical sense. It's just...
They worked you. It was all a work. Working the marks.
It's just... Ah, Jesus Christ. I fucking hate the ledges here. Almost as much as I hate these flamethrowers. Because, as you can see, the flamethrowers can knock you off the fucking ledge.
Yeah, it's funny enough. It does look like you are like dancing on the flames, like you're doing the hot foot thing, like ah ha 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 ha.
And like I said, most of the enemies have basis in reality, either being we have Sentinels, we have characters that would be from the Mojo-verse or from the Savage Land. These green and red guys with the rocket launcher, I have no fucking idea who they're supposed to be. They look like mini juggernauts. I'm guessing they're supposed to be some sort of weird Sentinel. But I'm not certain.
I was trying to come up with something very clever, and I had nothing on what they could be.
And there's 4 clones of Pyro, who... That's another time when using a super move is incredibly beneficial, because they will go down to one... they will go down with one super move. So... It might cost you 3 health, but you'll lose more fighting them, so in the end it's worth it. And I'm not trying to speed run this or anything like that, so I don't care how many lives I go through. So I'm an adult and I'm playing this on my computer. I mean, I'm playing the actual ROM on an arcade board that I've got set up. Yes, yes.
You're playing in an arcade cabinet that you got a camera pointed at. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. We're not. This is by no means a speedrun type stream. You want speedrunning, you can go to, you know, any of the other channels for that, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm just trying to tell you some history about the games while playing them and showing them to people who might have not played them or seen them. Brian, were you a big arcade kid?
I was, but I didn't. I wasn't like a play all the games kind of thing. X-Men did not come across my radar because I really wasn't. I was not a comic book kid. So therefore, X-Men was kind of like just a foreign concept to me.
Yeah, because obviously, given where you've grown up and spent a good amount of time, like on vacations and stuff.
Oh, at the shore, yeah. I mean, there was an arcade. There was an arcade in the mall. But, like, that wasn't... It was fine, but it was always like I always felt like I was too young to get in there. Like, my parents didn't really like me going in there, and by the time I was old enough to go in there by myself, probably it was less of an interest, and it was less of an arcade. But, yeah, I forget who it was. I want to say it was, like, Nate Dogg, but there's someone who's a regular in the chat, who is familiar also with the Jersey Shore, and... Not so much the up north part where it's like where MTV filmed, but like down the southern tip of Jersey, so you get more Philly crowd than New York crowd. But like, yeah, all the arcades, which are now just like ticket redemption games. Don't get me wrong, those are fun too.
Yep.
But it was like just video games, and the thrill of of the new games that you knew were in the arcade, but this is the first time you're going to this arcade to play it. And the crowds and all the fun stuff like that. So it was like, that was the thing. You know, I played a lot of Mortal Kombat, a little less Street Fighter, but some of that. You know, mostly fighting games, which that was always, when we were talking about how, like, earlier, how the games are designed to be quarter eaters, that is, I'm sure it's been talked about to death, but I think it's really fascinating that, like, your fighting games, like your Tekkens, your Street Fighters, your Mortal Kombat, things like that, the arcade era of them versus what they are now, and how they went from button smash, not really so much button smashy, but like, you know, nail these, you're punching him in the groin, that's awesome. You punch him in the groin until he blew up, that's amazing. But like, they were like these like six strong hits and you won the round, versus like nowadays the games are designed for consoles and they're designed for competitions. And they're designed to last, where it's this whole process. And it's like, that is a very different game than like the...
Oh, yes. No.
Yeah, where like a Scorpion's like spear, get over here thing. I can't think of the... No, and then an uppercut, and that's 25% off their thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you land 4 of those, you can win any match in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, that was basically it. Like, same with Sub-Zero and the uppercut. The ice and the uppercut. The uppercut took 25% of your health. Like, that's a very different game than what, like, fighting games are now, where it's like, one round takes 3 minutes, and you're just like, holy fucking shit.
Well, that's the natural evolution of fighting games.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, because they're not designed to take your quarters anymore.
Well, and even when they were designed, like in later iterations, like the best way I can put it is combos exist purely by accident. Like combos in fighting games were an accidental discovery, and they were originally removed from Street Fighter until the programmers realized these games aren't as fun without the combos.
Right, yeah. Like, that's the thing. I still remember the earliest times I saw combos in games were the Killer Instinct games. Killer Instinct was the one who was like, we're all about you stringing together combos. And then Mortal Kombat had the run button. That was a big one for that. I mean, you know, the run button was an experiment that didn't work so well, but the run button was what started combos.
Yeah, you had to run in order to get the combo to land.
Yeah.
And you know me, I'm a very big fighting game fan. Honestly, I love the evolution of fighting games because every single fighting game is different. Like, if you play and know Street Fighter, you can play Mortal Kombat, you can play the Marvel vs. Capcom, you can play...
They all felt the same, yeah.
SNK. Like, the basics are the same. The stuff that you need to know, like your bread and butters, like your footsies, like knowing to string a light to a medium to a hard to get a basic combo.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to finish this as Dazzler, because Dazzler is the most useless character in the game, so that's a fitting end.
Yes. Yeah, oh, by the way, the chat is talking about the light gun games. I will always love House of the Dead. Shit! Just as Al the Madman says it, he's gonna hear it like Al the Madman will hear me say it on a delay, but I literally said it and then saw you post it. So that is some great parallel thought there. House of the Dead is probably my go-to one for that.
I
always had the stupid Aerosmith game.
I will default. I honestly love Revolution X with Aerosmith. I will probably stream that at some point. Like,
please do.
I want to do a whole bunch of arcade games, and like, I want to do some of the this honestly had a game. So I might do a weird sponsored games one, which will feature that and the arcade game with the first celebrity endorsement, which would be Journey by Bally Midway, featuring the band Journey.
Yes.
But
so here's for no other reason. Here's why I would love to see you do Revolution X. Revolution X. Is because honestly, these are games that were quarter eaters, and I didn't have the patience or funds to get past like level 1.5. So I want to see what the hell the rest of the game looks like.
I will gladly. And Revolution X, like, once you get past the second level, it goes completely batshit.
Difficult, really.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, awesome. You're just like, how dare you get this far? Like, for me, I will always associate the Simpsons games because that was the one where you threw a couple of quarters on the machine. You saw 3 other people there, said, "Okay, we're beating this. Then there's 4 of us here. We're beating this. We're not leaving until we win." And you'd beat it because you needed 4 to do it. And that was great. That was so much fun.
I hate to bring it back to light gun games for a second, but
please. I
will throw out there my favorite light gun series is and will forever be Point Blank, which is a phenomenal. It's a mini-game light gun game.
Okay.
So like every game has a different thing. Like match the color target like with what pops up. Oh, and Magneto's calling me an ex-chicken, and he laughs at me. Also, Police Trainer is another mini-game type light gun game.
Police Trainer. I think there's still Police Trainer at some of the random arcades that I would go to at the shore that barely have any video games. There is, I will say, there is one that opened up that has video games again. And I'm not gonna say again, but like there's one that opened up, like one of them closed down, and then like something opened up in its place. Basically, just used the space and put up new ownership probably. Yeah. And they had a bunch of just standard arcade games, and it was like, this is great. It was just it was a nice breath of fresh air.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is X-Men the arcade game. Honestly, like a great game when you have more than just one player playing. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, I apologize for not being able to hop in. Like, I think we should return to these. We should definitely return to these, and I will absolutely hop in.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do, because unfortunately playing stuff like this online can be a little bit difficult. I'm working on ways around it, and hopefully we'll be able to do more than one player. If not, I'm more than happy to play and let people talk over it. But I think next time I think we're gonna do some more beat 'em ups. I think we'll hit the Simpsons arcade game, and we're going to do one of my favorite, just a game that no one really knows about, but I absolutely fucking love, and I discovered through playing on emulators. That would be Ninja Baseball Batman.
This sounds great.
Yes, so that's going to be all for Kyle Replays His Childhood. I'm Kyle. That's Brian. Brian, got anything to plug?
I think there might be some South Tucson tomorrow. There'll be something like to finish off week 7, and then once I get the votes in for the polls, then we'll have a highlight video, and then we're getting closer to the end of the season. That's about it. I promise there'll be more variety in what's going on. I'm working on a Kumite, which therefore will mean Kyle will also be working on a Kumite soon. Other stuff. The NASCAR game is a work in progress. There's a lot of stuff coming through the wire, but I'm very glad that Kyle that you're streaming, because that way the YouTube won't just be like South Tucson. As much as I love it, I feel like people are going to be like, oh my god, enough with the football.
Yes, and unfortunately, the past couple of months have been very hectic and frantic for me in terms of being out of town for business.
That's real life, man.
Yeah, that's real life. Thankfully, I have opportunities here and there where I will just pop in, and it'll be random days when I'm able to jump in and stream, but we're going to have some more different content, and I think I'm going to stick with the arcades for a while, because when we're talking about games that people aren't aware of, which are, that's partially the premise of Kyle Replays His Childhood, I think arcade games are something where people aren't really as cognizantly aware, especially the younger generation who might be watching the stream, because they might have never actually been to an arcade.
Yep, that's the sad truth, and I think that's the nice thing is there's these the whole concept of the barcade is coming to fruition. Magfest. I'll talk about Magfest, which is a con in the DC area. It's over at the National Harbor. And it's got a giant free play arcade. The MAG of Magfest stands for Music and Gaming, and it's basically there's a giant free play arcade area, and I got to play some old games. I by rule I had to play Rampage. Fucking love Rampage. It's nice to just sit there and play and be like, I don't have to toss quarters in constantly. I can just play as long as I want and then quit. I played NBA Jam. I realized I'm not as good as NBA Jam as I used to be, which is a sad statement. I was going to overtime and just eking out a victory, and I was like, my God, I've lost my touch for this, or I'm just out of practice. My girlfriend and I love a newer game called Killer Queen, which you've not played it shows up in bars a lot. It's a 5-on-5 game. Oh. There's a really interesting strategy. I don't want to say it's a platform jumper, but it's think of the original Mario Brothers, where it's you're just kind of you're just hitting the POW brick and trying to just knock the shells over, and the basic Super Mario Brothers, not Super Mario Brothers running through, but the original Mario Brothers one, where it's the two of you and that stuff. It's platforms like that, and then you gotta you can win one of 3 ways. You can either kill the queen 3 times on the other team, you can collect a bunch of berries, or you can drive the snail Zamboni into the goal. Trust me, it makes more sense when you're playing it. If you ever get a chance to look at Killer Queen, it's awesome. I've never played it in a bar, so I don't know how expensive it is to play, but it's a 5-on-5 game, and it's awesome. It's so much fun, and it's just so hectic, and it's just delightful.
Alrighty. Well, we've got a lot of potential stuff here, especially if we're sticking with arcades. So next time we're going to be doing The Simpsons and Ninja Baseball Batman, and if we've got a little extra time because I think those are a little bit shorter for beat 'em ups. We might sneak in some other just kind of like weird, quirky stuff that you can play for about 5-10 minutes and be done with it. But anyway, I'm Kyle. That's Brian. This has been Kyle Replays His Childhood. Good night and go fuck yourself.